This episode is more on manifesting. 7 tips to expand into the state of being that brings you the life you desire. Hey, welcome back to the Embody Podcast. Last week, I talked about reality hopping, which is to change your state of being so that you can be a whole other person, or that you can be who you want to be, or create what you want to create in your life. So this week, I wanted to talk a little more about that and add to that conversation on manifesting. And I don't even love calling it manifesting as much as being, because it's really about who you're being and the vessel that you are that can receive everything that's in right alignment for you. So what we're really saying is, instead of wishing for the thing that you want in your life, let's say that's something in your love life or your career or money or a better relationship with your parents or friends, whatever it is, instead of wishing for that thing, to focus on being ready and being the vessel to which you can receive the light that thing is. Be the vessel that is ready to receive. So you can say, as a bit of a mantra or a way to access it for yourself, allow me to be ready to receive. Allow me to be ready to love so that I can receive the love of my life. Allow me to be ready to receive and be abundance. I feel like that's a really great way to be on the journey to that state of being that matches the frequency of what you desire and what you want to be, who you want to be, so that all of that just flows in. But when you are in that state of being, that's when it all flows in. That's when it happens. So we're going to get into that a little more today. But before we get started, I wanted to remind you that for the holidays and for the new year, for any new intentions, I'm offering a personal meditation, either just my voice or with a gong healing or a crystal bowl healing sound bath incorporated. And if you checked out my episode a couple of weeks ago, the gong bath with subliminals, you can hear this sort of hypnotic way that I voiced some affirmations there. And all that really ties into today's episode, because for some people that helps them get into a state of being that they want to get into. So you can find that at CandiceWoo.com/personal meditation. You can also find that episode at CandiceWoo.com/episode 1. No, you can also find that you can also find that episode at CandiceWoo.com/EP195. No, you can also find that episode for a sample at CandiceWoo.com/gongbath. All right, let's jump into more on manifesting. The beauty of our existence here is that we're always creating. And what I mean is, I don't mean we're always creating a painting or creating a business or things like that. We are always creating our state of being and the world around us at a very, very simple and basic level. Whatever your state of being is defined by your emotions, your beliefs, your thoughts, your energies. And sometimes those are conscious and sometimes unconscious. Ideally, I like to create in a conscious way, because then I know that I'm not living out of some energies and thoughts and beliefs of the past, because my current thoughts and beliefs, my present thoughts, are ones full of love and abundance and safety and beauty and joy and fun. But the past ones are filled with some other stuff that I don't love to create from. But the thing is, we're always creating, like I said. So all of these things are creating itself from who we're being all the time. Our internal world creates the external around us. And we're all doing that. So then it's everyone's creation in a pot of this experience. But as I talked a little bit about last week in the reality hopping episode, we're only connected with others and experiences that connect with that specific paradigm of that state of being, of that frequency. There are certain dynamics that I used to be tied into, but I'm not anymore. For example, I used to believe that my voice wasn't valuable or that I should be silent, and that if I spoke, it would be dangerous, or that my voice wasn't really valuable, that I should be quiet. And I saw that play out in a variety of experiences, a lot of times professional, but sometimes personal, where maybe I'd say something and then that person literally didn't hear me or give me any attention or respect what I was saying. Sometimes they would credit someone else for the thing that I said. And I could work with the external world and try to make it different, use interpersonal communication, stand up for myself. And I probably did all those things at different times. But when I realized that this was an internal signal, something I was emitting from the inside, that my voice wasn't to be respected, that I didn't value my own voice, when I started to change that part of me and those beliefs, then things started to change outside of me. It was a way more powerful way to make change and to make change that stuck. And then what I noticed was the people that wanted to disrespect me before just weren't really attracted to me or reaching out to me. And I wasn't attracted to them. It was like we started to be so distanced that we were irrelevant to each other. It's like the players of the game were no longer interested in playing. And that's what I experienced in terms of changing realities when I changed into another state of being. Different people are connected there, or I'm connected to them, interested in them, and different people are interested in me. I'm no longer interested in playing out that game or that experiment of whether or not my voice is valuable, whether or not my thoughts and my presence is valuable. So I don't really attract the people that will put me down as I used to. I had this dream where I was driving a car and there were cars driving towards me in the same lane. And my mom in the passenger seat was like, "They're going to hit us. Are we going to be okay?" And I felt confident that we were just fine and those cars were going to pass by us, like through us, without affecting us. And that's what they did in the dream. So we're driving forward and these cars are coming towards us, not affecting us. We're not crashing. It's fine. And that's what I experience as parallel realities. There are realities here that are parallel with each other, but they're not really affecting one another. They exist in the same space. And you can see the other realities. You can even see the people you might have used to interact with and feel more engaged with, more drawn into. But now they don't affect you. And even if they do bring you that same energy that you used to connect in with, maybe you're not affected. Maybe it just feels neutral and you're not triggered, you're not activated or trying to connect back in. So what we're really saying is that when you change your state of being, you become an entirely different person with an entirely different network of connections, an entirely different transmission that you're sending outwards, and that changes your external reality. Your external mirrors who you are on the inside. So this leads me to the first tip for today. When it comes to creating the next iteration of yourself in a conscious way, be so convinced that you are that new person, that the outer world has no doubt and no wiggle room to be any different. Imagine your own energy and filling into your entire energy this new way of being. So if you take the exercise from last week and you really become that new person in every single way, in the way you think, in the way you feel, in the way you dress, the way you act, who you interact with, how you interact with the world around you, what you say in your head and what you say to others. Be so convicted of that being. Be that person. And the beauty of this is that when you be that person, when you are that person, you don't really feel like you need anything else in the outer world to change or be different to continue to feel that. This is where you're truly free. And I feel like that's the ultimate test or challenge, is to stay within that state of being, continue to refresh it, refresh. Stay present, stay choosing, stay in your agency, stay in that conscious, clear part of you that can choose right in this moment who you're being. I find this the hardest with some of my family members, where I have just such a really deeply ingrained trigger or experience and neural network of how I think, what I feel in those situations, etc. And lately, when I notice that moment that maybe I would react in the past, I very quickly hit the reset button, like the refresh button on the browser. That's the second tip for today. Hit the refresh button. Just refresh right away and get clear and clarified and grounded right into who I want to be in that moment, no matter what that other person is doing, no matter what they've said. And this is how I can continue to refresh myself into feeling peaceful, feeling joyful, full, happy, abundant, and any other feeling I want to feel in any moment. And you can do that too. So are there situations where you could hit the refresh button, where you can say, okay, I'm going to choose a whole way of being that is not how I've been being, because I have the choice of how I feel, and I care about how I feel. I care about choosing different thoughts and beliefs here so that I can feel better in myself. When I realized I'm the one choosing certain thoughts and beliefs that make me suffer, when I really felt the impact of that and the absurdity of that, I realized I could change my thoughts and beliefs. And why wouldn't I? How long do I want to continue to suffer? Granted, I did spend years and years and years, like 15 years, healing different beliefs that I just believed so hard. It was like these beliefs were me. I identified with this pain that I had in myself, this pain that I was continuing to recreate in myself by those very thoughts and beliefs, only I felt like I didn't have control of it. So for a long time, I had to do different healing techniques, which the rest of the podcast is about this. So if you're interested in that, you can touch in there, and different forgiveness statements as far as all the judgments I had about myself. Somatic experiencing, family constellations, different spiritual practices, all of those really helped me to release my grip on those thoughts and beliefs. You may feel like some thoughts that you have internally, some beliefs are so deep in there that you don't even want to look, or that they're so deep that you 100% believe them, or that they just can't change. And if so, you may want to check out some of those healing techniques to loosen that up. But if you're available to say, okay, yeah, that's a thought. And wow, that's a thought that I keep on thinking, and it is making me suffer. If you can be in that spot, then you can change your thoughts and beliefs. You can decide what you want to believe and who you want to be so that you can feel differently. This leads me to tip 3 and 4. My friend Sean Zelda introduced me to this woman on TikTok named Courtney Cho, and one thing I like about what she's saying about manifesting is to gaslight yourself and to method act your way into being someone else. So let's start with the gaslighting one. I haven't listened a lot to her work, but what I understand is that she felt like she was gaslit in the past by people telling her negative things and tricking her mind to think really negative things about herself. So if she could be tricked in that way, or she could be gaslit to believe certain things, why couldn't she gaslight herself to believe positive things about herself? And that's something I really relate to. I've experienced a lot of gaslighting in my life where people, for whatever reason, they need to challenge my reality or change what I'm saying or tell me who I am. And I believed them. I believed those thoughts about myself, and I came off with very negative thoughts about who I was. So that same way of someone in the external reality, which is still in your internal reality, being so strongly convinced that you are a wonderful person, or you're completely abundant, or you're very powerful, whatever positive thing you want to believe. Imagine someone on the outside gaslighting you about yourself in a great way. And maybe it's not someone else, maybe it's you. I love this because it suspends reality in a stronger, more impactful way for me, where it's just pushing it to the extreme. So if you have a boss that says mean things to you, or something in your life that nudges you to feel negative about yourself, as soon as that happens, maybe you can also hit the refresh button or the interject button and just pop in really positive gaslighting. So as soon as maybe a negative thing is said from the outside in, ignore that, and inside your head, tell yourself, Candice, you're so amazing. You're so good at this. You are just wonderful. I love being around you. You are fantastic. Whatever it is that you want to feel and whatever it is that makes you feel good, tell yourself that. Tell yourself that loudly. And if it helps you to imagine that someone else is telling you that from your outer world, do that. The other one was the method acting piece. And like this one, it brings in an aspect of playfulness for me, of this is not reality and we're just playing with reality, which is really what we're doing here. And it gets me out of the seriousness of all the past trauma, all the ways that I used to be, that I'm very used to being, and back into what feels way more like me, that playful lightness. So method acting, if you don't know about that, is where you act like that person. Actors will use this method, the method acting method, which is to say that they will be the person that they're trying to act out in a play or a movie. And they'll be that person 1,000,000% in their daily life. They'll become that person in every single way so that they live and breathe that person from the inside out. And with the reality hopping that we talked about last week, that's essentially what we're doing. But if you can use this thought as a permission slip, as a way to give you permission to become someone else, then great, do it. Gaslight yourself, or method act, or just be so 1,000% convinced that this is who you are. Be that person. And know that as you are being that person, that's everything. You're not being that person and expecting something to change. Being that person means something's already changed. You are already the person who has everything you desire. And the person who has everything you desire does not think about wanting more. They do not think about wanting the thing that you previously thought about. They don't think about wanting the money or needing more money. They don't think about having that beautiful, wonderful job because they already have it. So you've got to be that person. So what does your inner dialogue entail? This is tip number 5 and 6 about dialogue, inner and outer. That's the next piece I want to talk about, is really getting nitty-gritty with your inner dialogue and your outer dialogue. If you are being that person who has everything that you wanted and want, who already has it all, then what are the conversations you are having with other people? If you're in your dream job, what kinds of conversations are you having with your colleagues or friends or family members? What kinds of conversation are you having with the internet or the outer world, with nature, with the person at the grocery store? Can you phone a friend and talk to them as if you already have everything you desire, and let them respond with what they would given what you're saying? I've done this. I've called my friend and said, hey, I'm going to tell you about the most beautiful, amazing person that I met, and we're dating now. And that's before that happened, but it did happen later. So I called my friend and I was like, I met my person and he is amazing. And it was so cute when we met. And I got really specific and just made stuff up about how we met, about what he said to me, about our dating life and how it's been going, how he holds my hand, that he holds the door open, just things that I wanted. I was telling my friend that it was already happening on the phone. And she was saying things back like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Wait, what happened when he took you on the first date? And what was it like to kiss him the first time? Where's your next date going to be? Do you have any plans? What's happening now? And I got to answer all those questions. And some of those questions brought me to new places that I wasn't even thinking about initially. And then it helped me expand into that. It's almost like carving out new territory and anchoring in it, claiming it. And yes, it's all in your imagination, but as you say it, the idea is to feel it. Feel it in your body, how it feels to be telling your friend about the most amazing person you met and how he makes you feel and how you make him feel. So that's just an example of a love life example, but you can use this for anything. So if you just got a lump sum of money or you got an amazing job that pays you really well and it's been going just swimmingly, tell your friend about that. If you don't have someone that will play with this with you, then write it all in a letter to a friend, to somebody, to yourself. And in that, you can talk about how grateful you are for the way things are going. Be specific, but also use that specificity to just let your body lean into the emotions and sensations that you'll feel about it, rather than attaching to those details as a specific form you have to or need this all to come in. That's tip number 7. So we're kind of jumping between 5, 6, and 7 here. So be specific, feel it, and use it for that, but then let it all go. Drop it all. That's why I can't tell you the things that I exactly said to my friend because I don't really remember them. But I do remember that there were things I said about the things he's said to me that ended up becoming true in real life later. That when I did meet the person that is my partner now, the one that I want to be with, he was saying the things, and he is saying the things that I dreamed of previously. I love it. It's so beautiful. So yeah, phone a friend. Or write a letter. Or both. I did both. And the letter I ended up writing, I ended up reading it several times, just over the course of a couple of years. And that did help me access that feeling over and over and over. But I will say phoning a friend was way more powerful. And we did it back and forth. So I shared something and they played with me on that. And then we did it the other way around for something they were creating in their state of being. And the last thing I want to talk about today is back to tip number 6, dialoguing internally, using this as a tool for creating your state of being. So we just talked about dialoguing with a friend and how you would talk to your friend, what you would be talking about to the outer world if you are the person who already has the thing you desire. And now we're talking about how do you dialogue with yourself and inside your head, given that you are the person that already has what you desire. You wouldn't be thinking about that thing day and night like, oh, I really wish my person were here. Or I really wish I had that money that I want to have. Or I really wish that new job was going to land. You can feel the energy that brings. The person who already has that isn't thinking about any of these things. What are they thinking about? What does having all this free you up to think about? So when I imagined this for my love life about a year ago, I was driving in my car thinking, oh, I love my boyfriend. I love our relationship. It makes me so happy. I wonder what he wants to eat for dinner. So if I already have the relationship I desire, I'm going to be thinking about what we're having for dinner, what we're going to be doing on our next date. What surprise is he going to have for me next time I see him or on our next date? I'm going to be thinking about if I'm picking up a tea or a coffee, maybe he wants one. And calling him and asking. I'm going to be thinking about dropping him a cute text message or seeing a text message from him drop into my phone. But also, I'm going to be that person. Who is that person that already has that? The person that feels so lovable and so happy in their life, so joyful in my life. I'm doing all the things I want to be doing. I'm having a great time, and I'm happy to receive all the joys of life. I feel like a valuable person in the world. I feel like I bring light. I feel like I'm funny. I am worthy. I am caring. That's the person that I am if I'm in my most ideal relationship. So when you think about what you desire and what you're creating, who you're creating yourself into be, what's the inner dialogue you'd be having if you had what you desired? If you're that other person, what does that person think? If you're someone who has all the money they need, what does that person believe about themselves, and what are they thinking on the daily, moment to moment? What are they thinking when they're at the store and they see something that they desire? Let's go rogue with our inner dialogue. Let's just take this to the max and talk to yourself like that all the time. This is who you are now. This is how you talk to yourself. This is how you think internally when you have all that you desire. So today we talked about being the vessel for all that you desire and being so convinced that that is who you are, being the one that gaslights yourself or method acts your way into a state of being, your inner and outer dialogue, and also embodying the energy and emotions through different techniques and then detaching from all the details. So I hope this was helpful for you. I love using all these techniques. And then when these techniques sink in, back to tip number 7, we're weaving around a little here. When they're part of me, when they're incorporated, it just feels natural. And then in a lot of ways, I also drop all of it and detach. Because as this becomes embodied, becomes a way that my body feels all the time, I don't need to use the dialogue or the phone a friend or any of that anymore. It's just that I'm in the state of being, and that's that. It's like dogs and cats, horses, animals just know how to be. They are already being. They're already not thinking about the negative things. They're just in their wellness, in their vitality, in their life force, and they don't think twice about it. So once these ways let you access the state of being that becomes natural, you can let go of it all and just be. Then you get to watch all the beautiful things line up and come in for you that you wanted, and some things even better than you could even imagine. You can go with that flow and not put any resistance or static into the air that pushes it away and repels it. Because the wanting and the trying to be that person or trying to manifest, the visualizing and putting pressure on it, the making it happen from the external world, all of that puts resistance into the air. It transmits a signal that you don't have what you desire. You're not who you desire. Or you are the person that is trying and trying and trying and waiting for this to come in. You're that person. So you have to go the 100% and just be it. No more trying. No more waiting. Be. Well, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments what you think, what pieces are helpful, what you've tried, and if anything really struck you. If you're interested in a personal meditation for the holidays as a gift to yourself or others, check it out at candicewu.com/personal meditation. And be sure to check out previous podcast episodes on candicewu.com/podcast, where you can search the entire database of different topics, all related to healing, energy work, manifesting, trauma release, ancestral healing, intergenerational trauma, all that. All right, that's all for today. See you next time on the Embody Podcast.